Oh, yeah.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to another KanikaR-N video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite cities that I've been a traveler at, and that is Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to give you a few of my favorite little hot spots, and hopefully you enjoyed them. The first thing that anybody who's from Charlotte knows, and if you spent any amount of time in Charlotte, you know, you turn around, bam, you walk into a brewery. Turn around the other way, bam, another brewery. You walk this way, bam, brewery. You cannot escape the breweries in Charlotte. But if you enjoy them, which I really do, it's fantastic. And if breweries are not really your thing, or beer is not really your thing rather, there's a lot of cool events that go on. Like Sweetwater has pretty much an event every night, hip hop class. I went to like a Dirty South hip hop class, which is a lot of fun. Most of the breweries have like a yoga night, one night a week. And there's always different, like trivia going on, bingo, all kinds of random stuff. Some of my favorites are OMB, Sweetwater, which I mentioned, Suffolk, I really like, Birdsong. I mean, there's honestly so many. There's 30 plus breweries in the city limits of Charlotte alone. So hopefully you'll find one that you enjoy. So one of the funny things is when I was younger, I thought I would be a wine drinker, be an intellectual that would talk about like how difficult it is to get help and how our tax reform needs to change. And see, I can't even pretend being bougie. I don't even know what bougie people talk about. It turns out that I'm just a basic beer chick. So the Charlotte brewery scene suits me very, very well. So there's one place in Charlotte that I keep like this. I keep it a little bit away from me, and I don't go there very often. And that place is Uptown. I hate looking for parking. I don't like taking Uber and Lyfts to places. I just like to take my own car, park at a nice, respectable sized parking lot, and go home. So I avoid Uptown, except I make an exception for 1 to 2 places. One place I make an exception for is the Roxbury, because I am a 1989 baby and I love the 90s. So they play a lot of like 80s, 90s music at the Roxbury, like a lot of Britney Spears, MC Hammer, Salt and Pepper, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. So it really, really, I'm like, yes, I'm in my element whenever I'm at the Roxbury. So interesting little like random tidbit about me. My first concert was NSYNC. My second concert was Backstreet Boys. So I hit the jackpot right from the very start. So the funny thing is my NSYNC concert was a very pretentious 7, 8 years old, however old I was. And I was watching their concert and I was like, they don't have what it takes. Like, I don't think they have what it takes to make it. And then 3 months later, Bye 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 came out and they became the biggest band in America. So obviously not the best call on that one. But anyways, the Roxbury is always a good time. The second place that's kind of adjacent to Uptown, it's not like central to Uptown, is a place called the Fillmore. And it is pretty like an intimate concert venue. It's standing room only. It's such a great venue because like I said, you feel so close to the artist. And I saw a concert there, a Mexican guitar playing duo called Rodrigo y Gabriela. And it was awesome. Like I felt like I was at someone's house, like watching them perform. It was that close. Like I was this close to them. So it was really, really good. One insider tip I'm going to give you between you and me, don't eat the food. Get food at the Fillmore. It's too pricey. It takes too long. Don't get any adult beverages there pre-game. Yeah, don't drink there. It's too expensive. Not worth it. You smarter than that, okay? You smarter than that. So if you're more of an outdoorsy person, like I am, Charlotte is a very good city for that. One of the things that you will definitely, if you Google, the first thing that's going to come up is either WhiteWater Center, boom, or KanikaR-N's, boom. So talking about the WhiteWater Center, yes, everyone and their grandma and their third cousin knows about the WhiteWater Center, but there are 2 tips that I want to give you about the WhiteWater Center. One is if you can, go on a weekday. Obviously that goes for any touristy place, avoid it on the weekends. But the difference of my experience between going on a weekday and a weekend, I went on a weekend holiday. God forbid, don't go on a weekend holiday. That would be the worst. But when I went on a weekend, I got to do the rafting one time. When I went on a weekday, I got to do it like 6 or 7 times. So definitely go on a weekday. And the second piece of advice I'm going to give is skip the zip. What do I mean by that? Don't do the zip line. It took me an hour and a half again, but it was the weekend. It took me forever to do the zip line. It was over like this, and I was like, oh God, that wasn't even worth it. So you have been warned not to do those 2 things. So the next piece of information or story that I'm going to give you, it comes with a big disclaimer. I'm gonna put it right here, disclaimer. This was a fluke incident. There's only been one really negative incident I've heard out of the WhiteWater Center. And this is more a personal story than a reflection on them than anything. A couple of years ago, a girl was there on a trip and she contracted a bacterial infection. It's a bacteria that is transmitted through water, and it can go through your nose, your nasal cavity, and it affected her brain, and she actually ended up dying from this particular bacteria. But here's where I come into this, like, why are you even talking about this, Kanika? So one of my good friends was leaving Charlotte about 2 weeks after this incident happened, and she said, I really want to go to the WhiteWater Center. She was like moving cross country. She's like, I really want to go to the WhiteWater Center, but I'm afraid of, what all happened. And then we talked about it. We're like, let's just go. Fluke incident. There's been hundreds of people who've been afterwards and who've been fine. So we went. We had a great time. We went on a weekday. We did the rafting several times. A little bit after lunch, my friend goes, Kanika, I don't feel great. Like, my stomach kind of hurts and I have a headache. Do you mind if we just go home? I said, yeah, we've done our thing today. Like, that's more than enough. So that night, another friend texts me and she's, Kanika, did you hear about what happened at the WhiteWater Center? I said, yeah, I heard about the girl. It was so unfortunate. She said, no, did you hear about what happened today? And I said, I was there today. What do you mean? What happened today? She said that they shut it down around 4 o'clock because the bacteria levels in the water was too high. And I said, oh my God, I left at 3. And me and my friend, we've been falling into the water a couple of times that day. So for the next 2 weeks, I think that's how long it took for the symptoms. Like, we were Googling all the symptoms of, like, if you get this bacteria, like, how long before, your brain gets eaten and stuff. And we were very nervous those 2 weeks. But as you can see, your girl is alive and well, so we are good. But anyways, it's funny, I'm telling you about this brain-eating bacteria, but I'm like, no, go to the WhiteWater Center. It doesn't matter. Again, like I said, this is not a reflection on the WhiteWater Center at all. It's just a little personal anecdote that I'm telling you about. But truly, every time I've been to the WhiteWater Center after that and had a great time, and I think you will too. So the second thing that I'm going to suggest is actually in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It is about 30 minutes rough drive from Charlotte, and it is a man-made wakeboarding park. So there's no bolts that pull you around. It's a cable pulley system that kind of pulls you in a loop, and there's ramps and things for you to kind of like either navigate around or use to like jump and do flips and stuff. And it only opened last year. I went recently for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it was a blast. I had the greatest time. I say that about everything. It was the greatest time. It was the best. But you know what I mean. It was good. It was really enjoyable. The owner, Trent, and his wife opened this place about a year ago, like I said, with a couple of family friends. And they are such warm, friendly people. They make you, the way they teach you is very constructive, and they don't make you feel self-conscious, because this is a weird thing for your body to get used to doing. But fantastic. And anytime you can support a local business, particularly one where the people are so welcoming, so warm, and have such a personal vested interest in your enjoyment, is always something great to support. And aside from that, it's just such a good day. It's so family friendly. I think you can start going there from the age of 8, I think, somewhere in that range. And he said that we had a grandma here in her 70s with her grandkids the other day. Grandma was rocking out on the wakeboard. So it's just really good time. And please do check it out if you're in the area and like to do those kinds of water adventure sports. And the last topic we will talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is food. My favorite topic. Like, who doesn't love to talk about food? So one thing about Charlotte, as much as I am yeah, Charlotte, I love you, one thing I think that Charlotte can improve on, and it will continue to improve on, is the food scene. The food scene is nothing that I'm super excited about, or that I tell people, when they come to visit, oh my God, we have to go here, it's so good. But having said that, there are 5 places that I do enjoy in the city. The first one is a British pub that's called Sir Edmund Halley's, and really good British pub style food. They have a lot of veggie equivalents of what their like normal dishes are. So they have like a buffalo chicken, but then they have like a buffalo cauliflower, which is really good. Lots of different beers, British beers, good wine. And the great thing about Sir Edmund Halley's, one of the reasons I really enjoy it, it's open till 2 in the morning. So if you're out late with friends and you want to, grab a bite to eat, but you don't want to necessarily stop at McDonald's on the way home, you want something a little more substantial, something nicer. Sir Edmund Halley's is really good for that. They also have really good desserts. Place number 2 that I'm going to talk about is Yafo Kitchen. Yafo Kitchen is very much, the vibe is very similar to a Chipotle Moles, where it's you build your own bowl or salad or that kind of thing. And their sides, their actual, like the falafel and lamb and those kind of dishes are very flavorful, very tasty, but their sides are so good. Their Brussels sprouts, very good. Their mac and cheese, that is one of my, it's very weird of being from the South, and one of my favorite mac and cheeses is from a Mediterranean, like fast food kitchen, but y'all eat that mac and cheese and tell me it's not delicious. I'm waiting for you to tell me that it is not awesome. Go check out their mac and cheese and tell me what you think. Third place that we're going to talk about is Mama Ricottas. So I enjoy Italian food. I like most cuisines, but it's never going to be the one I will default to. Usually it's like Thai or Indian or something Asian. But I went to Mama Ricottas recently. I got their stuffed ravioli. Delicious. But wear your big boy and big girl pants, ladies and gentlemen, because you have to save room for their bread pudding. It is rich. You will probably not be able to walk well for 2 to 3. I don't operate heavy machinery 2 to 3 hours after you eat their bread pudding, but it is so good. Get an espresso, some bread pudding, so good. All right, and the last 2 places have like an Indian flair to them. The 4th one is a Chinese Indian fusion place. It's called Inchin Bamboo Garden. This is one of the few places on my list that's in North Charlotte, and it hasn't been open very long, but it's really good Indian/Chinese flavor. I know Indian people really enjoy it, but a couple of people who are non-Indians have really enjoyed it as well. So if you want something that's a little bit different for your palate, maybe, then Inchin Bamboo Garden is a very nice, especially if you like Asian food, it's a really good place to check out. And the very last place that I'm going to mention is a place called Chaat and Dosa, which is a very, very traditionally Indian sort of place. So it's 2 things, like the name suggests, Chaat and Dosa. Chaat is basically Indian street food for anyone who's not familiar. Very different sort of flavor, but you can become addicted. There's no other flavor or snack that I can compare to any other kind of cuisine. It's just something that you have to go there and try. Their samosa chaat is one that I really, really enjoy. If you don't know what to order, like what do I order, I'll suggest the samosa chaat. And their dosa, idli, sambar, all that, which is South Indian food, is very, very good. For those of you not familiar with South Indian food, it might be a little bit of an acquired taste, because even I wasn't a big fan of South Indian food as a kid, but now I absolutely love it. So for all you Indians out there, I hope you enjoy that place. If you're not Indian, though, I'd be curious to see what you think about it, so let me know. And thus completes our little tour of the Queen City. Please comment below and let me know, what have I missed? What on this list have you gone to and enjoyed? The city that we're going to be doing next week is like San Francisco Bay Area. So come back and I will share some little places with you in that area. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, my friends, and I will see you next week. Bye.